So the Minnesota Lynx just just lost to the Connecticut Sun. I'm sorry. I'm incredibly, incredibly tired. It is 8 a.m. I've been up till 6:30 just getting stuff done in life and went to sleep at 2 or at 3:30 to watch this game. But obviously, I was too tired at the time to make the video. But this was a fun game right here. And this was just gritty basketball. And for the Sun, they were able to grind down. They're able to grind down teams. Look, they are the best. As much as the Fever let the Sun just dominate on offense, what they did today was what they do the best. They can grind teams down and force them kind of away from how they like to play. I can see here Alana Smith 2 and 9. She did hit a big one was an and one was a nice pull up. Kayla McBride 1 of 5 from 3. I could have swore one was a foot on the line. I could have swore she had 2 and 2 possessions. Courtney Williams 3 of 12. Like, look, this team's not going to shoot this badly again. They're just not. And it was still a game up until the last possession. Like, the Minnesota Lynx have a 5-point lead at one stage in the fourth quarter. Yeah, they did. And the Connecticut Sun just held them to 8 points in the fourth quarter. Like, this is a serious team. But one thing we got to talk about is the woman herself, Marina Mabrey. Chicago Sky fans, do you think she was the problem now? Marina Mabrey she hit 6 threes. Like, she went 7 of 19 from the field, which isn't the greatest percentage, but she goes 6 of 11 from 3. She went 1 of 8 from 2, which isn't ideal, but she went 6 of 11 from 3. DeWanna Bonner struggled a little bit shooting-wise. Alyssa Thomas, 1 assist off another triple-double. And the thing with Alyssa Thomas is teams are literally just willing. You can see, they only scored 73 points, so it was a defensive game, but teams are willing to let Alyssa Thomas do whatever the hell she wants. Teams do not guard her. And that is how you have to play her in the playoffs. Because if you guard Alyssa Thomas and you allow her, as much as it looks like she's absolutely controlling the game with 17, 10, and 9, they're letting her get 17, 10, and 9. If you understand, if you get what I mean. Their goal is not to stop Alyssa Thomas. Their goal is to make Alyssa Thomas do as much as possible. And in fairness to her, she shot-putted the ball into the basket for game. She got a nice shot put into the basket for game. But, it's incredibly impressive what she can do, though, considering the fact that neither of her shoulders work. The best player for this team in the playoffs has been Marina Mabrey. Especially down the stretch. She's been huge. She's been absolutely huge. And a lot of people are like, oh, but she wasn't like this in Chicago. And she did have to do everything in Chicago. And yeah, she won it out. But it's not like she wasn't this guy's second best player. And in my opinion, considering the fact that when the Sky were at their best was at the start of the year, when Kennedy Carter was coming off the bench, other than late game free throws, you could maybe make the argument the most important player for the Chicago Sky was Marina Mabrey. When she was the number one option, the clear-cut number one option through the first 5 or 6 games, they were 500. And they beat the Liberty. They beat the Wings. People still thought the Wings were going to be pretty good. When the Wings still winning games at the start of the year, they beat them. They beat all the teams they were meant to beat, other than the Indiana Fever. And I'm pretty sure they were, am I right in saying they were 3-2 at one stage, and then 4-5? And then obviously without Marina Mabrey, even with Kennedy Carter, they could barely win a game. But Marina Mabrey, what were you doing, Chicago? You gave her up effectively to move up 6 spots in the draft. And then to get Marina Mabrey, you gave up Leni Fivic 2 firsts and 2 pick swaps. And then you basically just gave her up for nothing. And the worst part is, you might say, oh, but her contract was bad. You took on Mariah Jefferson, who's got a worse contract than Katie Lou. And I don't know if it's possible to have a worse contract than Katie Lou. Actually, I do. It's Mariah Jefferson. You basically took on a near, a 160K a year, 1 point per game player. And this is not like a Katie Lou where everyone's like, okay, she can come back better next year. This isn't like a 6'3" shooter who when in shape can play a little bit of defense. Just wasn't up to it this year. This was you signed a 6'1" point guard. You got a 6'1" point guard who just can't do anything instead of for Marina Mabrey. That is still one of the dumbest trades. Still up there with the dumbest trades I've ever seen in basketball. But, yeah. fair play as well. Her defense, by the way, is like night and day. I hate this website so much. Does anyone understand why the WNBA website is so bad? Like, it's actually a joke. There you go. But Bridget Carlton steps up, and that's one of the things with this team where it's like anyone on any given game with the Lynx can step up. Like, I'm not worried if I'm the Lynx. I predicted Lynx in 5. A lot of people thought that I was like, they were like, oh no, Lynx in 3, Lynx in 4. And I'm like, man, the Sun are good. And not only that, the Sun drag you down. The Minnesota Lynx will, like, as far as just stylistically matchup wise, are not a good matchup for the Sun are not a good matchup for them. Because the Lynx rely so much on team basketball, and the Sun rely so much when it matters on dragging you down. And the Lynx, not that they don't have the talent to do it. Fee Collier is great, Carlton's great, they've got all these players, but like, they don't have a Sabrina or a Stewie who can just go, give me the ball, I'm getting the bucket. This is a team basketball, whereas this is a team defense, where you've got, again, a lot of good players. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Bree Jones seems to be like almost, we saw it in the last series, she seems to be just almost iced out of the rotation as an all-star. There's no way to keep her in free agency. Like, she's on a max. They're going to need to give her a max, and they can't afford to pay Bonner, Alyssa Thomas, Bree Jones with the Mabrey contract. Dewana Bonner, Alyssa Thomas, Bree Jones and Carrington are all free agents. And if you want to pay Carrington, if you're going to be able to match what another teams are going to offer Carrington, teams are going to offer Carrington as close to the max as they can. Other teams. And you've got to be able to match that. So there's no way Bree Jones isn't walking free agency. And it's going to be really interesting what happens to Bree Jones, because she is an all-star level center. Like, obviously, teams that might... There's not that many teams that have a lot of cap space that need all-star level centers. Like, I'm trying to think in the league. What teams... You know what team could really do with her? When the Hines Allen money goes, she's on a near max. If the Minnesota Lynx can pick up Bree Jones next year, they're scary. Because I'm like, the Liberty don't need her. The Aces can't afford her. Unless they let Kelsey Plum go. And that's another option. If they let Kelsey Plum go, they can pick up a Bree Jones. Probably more of a need. But yeah, a very interesting one. But the Chicago Sky, what did you do? What did you do? You got rid of Marina Mabrey for nothing. For nothing. For nothing. And yeah, I get it. You moved up like 6 spots in the draft this year. And the only positive is that it's a deep draft. But like, people are acting like this year's draft is not going to have players in the second round. Like, unless literally Tahina Pau is there at the Connecticut Suns pick. If she's not there, there's just no point. Like, the trade up, you're probably getting a similar level player. But anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.